This is Dr. Rao Kulusu coming to serve you in whatever way I can. Uh, Today is June 20th, and tomorrow is 21st, is known for International Yoga Day. It's the eighth time we are celebrating this, and we are uh, really uh, preparing our ground for tomorrow today. And also, I want to talk about a subject that I raised last time. It's about uh, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. So you have a comment or a question? Some.
No worry.
Okay. We are starting the room. Let me talk a little bit. If you have a question, anything come up. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you. So.
thank you.
The- So we are going to prepare the ground for the International Yoga Day tomorrow. I'm a yoga practitioner and I've been doing this since 1985. And yoga for me just not physical, even though I do the physical yoga to keep my body healthy, but
Yes, yes,
mental and spiritual. It's a kind of thing that we do uh, every day in all aspects of our life. So we will be doing all that. uh, so I want to see how I can put somebody in the audience again. Okay. All right. So uh, he will come back if he has any questions. Okay. So International Yoga Day was introduced in 19. I don't know exact date, but 8 years ago, 2015 maybe. And then I was very happy that they have introduced it. And then it was voted into resolution by the United Nations, like 170 countries. So those 170 countries is a real record. But the purpose of that was to introduce yoga way of life, not only to improve the individual health, but also how we can really help the planet by making people less of a consumers, more of a internally oriented, awake and conscious beings. So the real yoga purpose is self-realization. Real yoga is where your individual consciousness mixes with the universal consciousness. So being a conscious being, doing everything conscious means not being unconscious, not being compulsive. But for that, you need to make your body be healthy and mind to be tranquil, and your heart becomes compassionate automatically. So there are bigger purposes involved in this International Yoga Day, and it reminds everybody at least once a year what is yoga mean, how can you do the yoga. Everybody does the physical yoga, everybody does the breathing, everybody does the little bit of quietness, but actually you prepare the body so that it can sit down for a prolonged period of time and you turn inward. That was the real goal of that. And then you can transform your inner being rather than being reactive, compulsive, unconscious being to something proactive and really in charge of your life, every aspect of your life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all sorts of life, right? So you don't have to change your religion, but it was done by people who wanted to welcome the entire world as their family. It was the Equator program, right? So that is what I'm going to celebrate tomorrow with my friends and family, and also I will come on here at this usual time, and I will talk more about International Yoga Day. What is yoga? What is its purpose? How can it be done? What are the areas we can do. You can be in yoga and do your life. That means you are established in your real inner being and then go about the life. And you can make every aspect of your life yoga. So even if you have efficiency in your work, that is really improved by yoga. If you are a sportsman, that is improved by your ability. So many ways we look at this yoga to improve our life. And I like to contribute because I've been spending a lot of time not only yoga way of life but also studying the yoga literature and understanding. One of the biggest book is Patanjali Yoga, and we're going to talk about that, and also the yoga role in personal transformation inside out. And if you take a physically also, how it can improve your health, and how it can improve stress and burnout in your life if it is there, those kind of things. Anyway, today's topic I wanted to present to you as is success leading to happiness, or happiness is success in your life? What is it for you? I would like to welcome my friends on the Wisdom app to come up and participate in the discussion. Let me present my perspective on that. Uh, I think, oh, Martin. Okay. Martin is yeah, tower cut.
My friend, how are you?
I'm good, Martin. How are you?
I am doing very well. I am. I. I am success. Success is happiness.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like when I can have a day of just like I don't know when the last time I've had a struggle
yeah,
for a day.
yeah,
Like of course there are moments in the day where I fall back, but those are very fleeting, and they become less and less so. Like they become more and more fleeting as I grow.
yeah,
But everything, like success can't be for me. Success can't be anything but that bliss, but
yeah.
that happiness,
You
but
mean
that joy.
happiness is success for you, Martin, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah. Like every like I I never defined even my entire life success was something that people. How do you define it?
yeah,
I'm like, and even happiness,
yeah,
I think is a strong word for it.
yeah,
Like it's not even because happiness has an opposite. Like
yeah, yeah,
and 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 if you define something as being happy or good, or I realize that like and the Tao talks about this, but I realized just even as a child, it was always for me like that's not it.
mm,
You can put your finger on it.
yeah,
That's not it.
yeah,
And that is what success is for me. To
mm,
to be able to not put my finger on it,
yeah,
to be able to not express it or explain it. Like when it is, I remember there was a time that I felt, and this was maybe 10 years ago, maybe maybe before my multiple sclerosis diagnosis.
mm,
I was feeling what I would have called ungrounded,
mm,
and that was such a beautiful space when I was able to just give in to the ungroundedness. Like there was nothing planting me in anything.
yeah,
And I was just able to be like it just my entire life just felt like it was floating, and there was no it's hard to say no direction
yeah,
because I was moving in a direction. I just wasn't controlling the direction I was going.
yeah. Martin, what this is the happiness that we have naturally have is something not tapped into, and you have an intuition that it was there, and you were not brought into the external things which we will think that they will give you. And also your multiple sclerosis gave you an opportunity to tap into that inner source, and once you got that, then all multiple sclerosis or any other thing would is easier for you to handle, or it is not influencing your inner already existing happiness. That is the whole point, and then because you
Yeah.
have experienced it, you want to really go back to it. But the thing is, outward world and everything else is going outward, pulls you outward. But that,
Even words.
yeah, yeah. Even the words, yeah, they stimulate because there is a subconscious and conscious conditioning happens in the life, in our upbringing, in the schooling, in the family, friends, every reaction, right? But
Yeah.
we know we are very, very happy once we are inside in that fulfilled center. you know Being centered is a big problem for a lot of people because outward everything is distracting you more, and it's increasing more distractions.
Oh, and this is a big part of my conversation with my, like the idea that everything is trying to get you addicted to
Yeah,
the, the external. and
yeah,
the more we and the more we embrace the external,
yeah,
the more we embrace, like even the more we embrace, like, our meditation apps,
yeah.
like the more we pull ourselves out of ourselves and
Yeah.
rely on an external.
You see, these meditation apps is a concern for me because my patients come and tell me that I'm using this, I'm using that, I'm better sleeping, and all that. I let them do it for a while, but I always tell them the real thing is within you, in your control. Once until you get that, you can use these devices, but don't be illusioned by the external app. Get rid of it as much as possible. Like you are always working about the addiction and all that, and this is also another addiction.
Yes.
So
I talk to that I come across. I talk to often, and I'm always, like, I remember talking to someone who was taking an antidepressant,
yeah,
and I was like, "That's great. I'm
mm,
glad you're taking an antidepressant." But when you're on an antidepressant, it is your job
yeah,
to learn what the antidepressant is doing, so
yeah,
you can do it without the antidepressant.
yeah,
like because eventually, whatever antidepressant you're on,
yeah,
it is going to no longer work eventually,
yeah.
and you will have to change antidepressants.
not
But you
only
can
not
you
only that may be tolerant and then get used to it, and then that produces problems in the body chemistry, and that becomes a permanent feature and all that.
Yes, and I'm not trying to tell people to get off their meds without a doctor's
Yeah, yeah,
prescription. Like, you want a professional, but
yeah,
if you're taking an antidepressant, you've already recognized a
yeah,
problem. Now address that problem
yeah,
within you. While you have like, when you have a broken foot,
yeah,
you use a crutch.
yeah,
But when your foot is healed
yeah,
because you allowed it to heal, you
yeah.
stop using the crutch. You don't use the crutch for the rest of
Exactly.
your life.
It is so much easier to see the physical crutches, but not see the mental crutches. That's what we are talking
Tell me about it.
about.
Yes, I'm with you on that,
Yeah.
sweetheart. It's
You
like
see,
it
there
is
is a
always great.
deeper intelligence. I'm bringing it here, not mine, but the intelligence that we have within ourselves. Everybody, we have that. But the more we are away from it, the more we are trained about depending on something else other than our own inner intelligence, then we become unconscious, compulsive, and build up a subconscious reserve. And then they drive our habits, they become addiction, and all of that. So,
Yeah,
there is a way to turn inward. There is a way to really find that perfect fulfillment that's already there in everybody. It kind of covered by so many layers according to the life experiences, according to what kind of culture you are born into, what kind of things you have learned, and all that. But I always bring them back to what are you? What is that really bringing you back to that center? That's the whole thing. Me and Martin, we talk about Tao. He has a room of Tao a day. He's trying to serve people by introducing them to it, and also really repeating Tao's principles every day. Each person picks up a number, and Martin involves in discussion with them. I always talk to him about don't let the mind get caught and tangled, you know, because
yes,
we want to focus on the Tao, and then we want to understand. It's not just about talking, just get in touch with that is there, and
right.
and then as far as I'm concerned, Martin can be in Dow and not talk to anybody, and he'll be happy. But
Yeah,
he's trying
yes,
to serve people. He's trying to help them. Like I'm trying to bring in all the ancient wisdom, not just Tao, but also
yeah,
the yoga, Ayurveda, other things that they have done. I'm nothing against the modern medicine except that it is not helping the chronic diseases,
no,
and then people are not properly given. And then my thing is, you can be not be chronically ill, you can be chronically well. My whole thing is to direct whatever we have. It could be Martin's program or anybody's program is driving towards that intelligence within you. And once you tap that, once you centered in that, then all the other things really fall off. Like because you are stable and you are really centered, and then approaching life. Like
yes.
yeah,
Having faith in yourself
yes,
because
yes,
you are
yeah,
the
yeah,
epitome
so,
of that guide
yeah,
that will guide you to the Tao, that will guide you to the Brahman because you are that. That
yeah.
is you.
That's it.
I
You
remember
don't have to
I
be
said,
anything else. Just be.
yeah,
And
just be.
yesterday, Grace was talking about this in her post. Like, uh, Martin, you want to come back? You can come back. There's nobody in the queue. I think. Yeah. So I was mentioning to Martin about one of my our friend Graciola. Yesterday, she mentioned in one of the posts, "I want to be like Dr. Rao. Just be and don't do anything else." So it's a kind of uh, uh, be means don't have to meditate, don't have to do any extra thing, just be yourself. So it involves a lot of deconditioning rather than learning something else new and all that. So for example, you have touched Tao, you touched Brahman. What is it that is restricting you to get away from it and then get back to it? Instead, just be all the time. That's the remarkable thing that people talked about. But then there are so many systems evolved about this, and they became intellectual. They became more of not not really existential. They're more like a mental or psychological and all that. So we are trying to get you back to the existential. What are you now? What are you doing? If you can be in the present, if you can be yourself without all the mental chatter, all the mental conclusions, all the preachings and all that, then you will be in happiness. What do you think, Martin?
Oh, I agree. It's
Yeah,
like when we can get, as somebody who talks about addiction and pacifiers and the idea that we're always looking
yeah,
for, I mean, I talk about you're born and you live under the influence of your parents, and your
yeah,
parents tell you that we will reward you if you do what we like you doing.
yeah,
And then you get into school, and then you say, okay, we are going to reward you if
yeah.
you do what we like you doing. And we have all gone to school and answered questions on tests
Mhm.
that have been proven wrong.
Yeah,
And yet we learned to answer those questions not as truth, but as we were taught. And we're all being taught, and we look outside of ourselves for that approval, that instant gratification. And this work that you're talking about does not
yeah,
instantly gratify.
yeah,
It is slow and it is subtle.
yeah,
And that subtle work of being doesn't come with
yeah. Let
huge
let me
celebration.
let me introduce you something further than education. It is
Please.
in the womb. What kind
I
of
agree. I agree completely. Yes.
yeah, common sense knows that a happy pregnant woman will deliver a very healthy child, but that was incorporated into ancient cultures where
Yes.
they celebrated conception, they celebrated the pregnancy, and they treated that mother with a lot of love and affection. And stress was not allowed to come around her in the sense they
Yes.
don't want to be negative, they don't want to be really giving her a lot of stuff that she cannot do. and then don't want to impose anything on her. Just be herself and allow her to enjoy the pregnancy, allow her to comfortable and take care of the baby in a way. But also, what kind of chemistry she has influences in terms of arguments outside and all the stress. These days, I see all the nurses and they come full time working in the hospital, you know, and I tell
Yeah.
them this, the spirits lift up just by telling them about it. They were able to consciously tell them, parents and husbands and everybody, please don't bring the negativity around me. If I can do something about it, tell me. Otherwise, don't bring me. And that itself changed them because this is like a institutionalized in India. When I saw that, my sisters when they got pregnant, they came home. First, they gave him a big party. In that party, this girl is given all the gifts and everything as though she has accomplished something very, very big deal, you know. And then she nurtured they nurtured her like she is a small kid, needs more attention and all that, but also really love and affection and no arguments around, no stressful thing. But these days, I think it may be changing a little bit because women are going out and working too. But then they
Yep.
are exposed to the same stresses like men are. But then there was something about motherhood that gives them extra attachment to the kid and they want to do everything for the kid. The moment I mentioned this, so many nurses grabbed it. And then they are influencing the other women patients who come to the clinic so that they are received well, they are kind of treated, they have accomplished something just by being pregnant and all that. You know, that is a beautiful thing, celebration of the human life. What do you think about that, Martin?
Oh well, I had an experience. I'm in Chicago, as you know,
Mm,
and I had a friend of mine get pregnant, and
mm,
so there's a large Mexican population
mm.
around where I live, and Mexican men
Yeah.
don't always don't always treat women that they don't know on the street with respect. There's a lot of hooting and hollering, and even if they find them if they see an attractive woman in a restaurant, they're not always,
Mm,
um, like this is just how I've kind of seen culturally. There's a lot of machismo sort of attitude and
mm,
stuff like that. But when my friend got pregnant, everybody in her circle, any Mexican man
mm,
would would keep their children from
mm,
causing stress
mm,
around my friend, would allow her to sit down,
mm.
would treat her with the utmost respect. Because culturally,
Yeah.
I believe that is being held
Yes. Yes.
culturally in
Mm.
Mexico
Yeah. Yes.
more than it is being held in the United States.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful experience to see like her just get kind of doted over
See,
by
what
by
I'm seeing
machismo
now
men.
is United States culture is really spreading across the board. Whatever
Yes,
somebody does in America, somebody wears a jean. Everybody wears a jean in the world. You know,
right.
so that's why it's very important to understand what is this modern culture. It's not just United States, just kingdom or any
Of
of the
course.
advanced conditions. People are materialistic a lot, but they're miserable inside, you know, and all the addictions, everything comes out of that to avoid that void or to avoid the unhappiness. What I am trying to bring it is we think success leads to happiness. It will lead us comfort. It will lead us a livelihood. It will lead us some comforts and all that. But just because you have succeeded in a field without you neglecting your inner being, can you be successful? That's the question. On the other hand, if you take a lot of yogis, they don't have anything in the world. They voluntarily give it away. But they are very blissful and really happy. I can attest to that because I always tell my patients I'm blissful. They think I'm crazy. But I tell them, even the wisdom house, I tell them always when they greet me, I think they get irritated also. What is this guy? The call system is blissful, you know. But that is a fact. You can be blissful by understanding your mind, by calming your mind, by really understanding your conditionings, like Martin was talking about, and you see, not really blaming yourself, but then getting rid of some of the extraneous habits, extraneous addictions, and all of that. That's important, But really realizing I am really can be happy within and then come out and work. That is the principle that yogis taught me. And I work, I do everything, that's fine. But then you bring this wisdom. Instead of looking out there, you are establishing happiness and come this exploring ancient philosophies and all that, understanding them actually leads to that. There is one sentence in one of the movies I saw about Ramana Maharshi said, whatever you do, you finally have to come and realize your centeredness, your own inner being. Just be that. That is what I was talking about with Gratiola too. I just want to be the peace, that happiness that is within me, and just be that. And I don't have to strive for anything else. And then anything else you do is extra to the life.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's
it's
a
beautiful.
it's a really, I think what Martin and me are trying to do all the time is when people are entangled with outward things like they have a disease of the body, or they have a mental problem, or they have an addiction or whatever, we're going to try to trace the roots and treat that as fine. But we're also exploring this other alternative that is inward, inside. So turn inward, explore within yourself. You don't have to answer to anybody. Just being honest to yourself, just touching those areas that are unhealth, finding out why the unhappiness movements are happening, what was the reason behind it. That is one thing. Other thing is, you really, Julie is here. Okay, thanks Martin for coming in. Now my other friend Julie is coming, and let's talk to her too. Hi Julie.
Hiya. I've been listening to you. Obviously, I am a massive fan
Yeah,
because you and Martin John have been great
yeah,
with me on my journey for myself, not
yeah,
just the journey that I'm taking, but the journey that we are all on in our own way.
yeah, yeah,
And I think the one thing that's really helped is when we've been talking about just being, it is a way of simplifying things
yeah,
instead of doing the thing where we tend to synthesize and
yeah.
make things complicated. Then I've been working really hard the other way to simplify
Yes.
things and not to attach myself to anything
Yeah.
and just to allow it to be whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is.
Absolutely, Julie.
And
Because if you don't simplify, people get lost in the complexities, and then they don't know where they are going. What is the simple thing is, why don't you turn inward instead of going out
yeah,
all the time? Yeah, go ahead.
it's almost like turning yourself backwards from
Yeah,
instead of being complicated and almost invested in everything,
yeah,
you stop investing and feeling about everything and
yeah,
just see how you feel yourself.
yeah.
Just notice your being,
Exactly,
or in
exactly.
my case, my being.
Julie
And
does something very simple every day. She does a relationship with the nature. She does see
just
the,
looking at the sickness,
yeah.
just
She,
looking at the sickness and the swans coming over.
yeah. Yeah, actually, she has contact on a daily basis, on a moment to moment basis in the present, what is happening in the nature, what is going on. That's a very powerful healing technique. But then most of the people get lost in their own thoughts, even though they are not needed at the time. Suppose you are working something, you need to use your thought, that's fine. But why do you have to be psychologically playing that, always in the past, always in the future? And Julie does with the nature. She's the animals, flowers, and water, whatever that's in front of her. Right, Julie?
Yeah, yeah. I spend the time in the now.
Yeah, yeah,
So I realised that I can't get this now back again.
mm, yeah,
So it's not that I can relive this moment at any time.
yeah,
So why not fully
yes,
appreciate it right now, no matter what it is,
yeah.
no
See,
matter
that
what
is
the reflection is.
psychologically busy means you are psychologically busy in the past or the future. That means it is not existential. It is not happening here. But when you are in the present, like Julie was talking about, here and now, That is really life. That is the existential life thing. That's why if you are in the present, only then you are having the life. You know, it's as simple. So first principle is turn inward. Second principle is stay in the present.
And the other thing about it is, Dr. Rao, I've noticed that since I've been doing the living now and experiencing
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
time itself seems to be longer.
yes,
So
yes,
when I appreciate every minute, a
mm,
week can seem like a year
yeah,
because I'm just soaking in what's happening at that time and not worrying about
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah,
Tomorrow will look after itself. There's a certain
yeah.
amount of trust in that.
See, you can have a brainstorming and plan for the future, and all those things are okay. But then you bring back to yourself when you're executing it, be here and now. Do that step when you're doing it completely here and now. Right, Julie? That's what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then that way you kind of find space
Yeah.
to have peace, which is what the blissfulness feels like.
Exactly. You are happy in that moment because you are doing it
Yeah.
completely. You are in flow and you don't have to really say too many things, and you are centered in your centeredness, and then you are approaching everything like that. I'm doing like that. I'm doing with Julie right now. I know that she does the present moment awareness thing all the time. And I'm
Mm.
bringing it out so that other people can understand what is the blissfulness that she's talking about. Right, Julie?
It is. Yes. Like right now, you are with me.
Yes.
We've got people come and say hello. People. We've got full cygnets. We've got a swan. We've got dragonflies. We've got a kingfisher that sits on the branch over the way. Everything is happening right now. Lots and lots of stuff.
Yes.
Thing
Beauty,
is
beauty
I'm
there.
here.
Yeah, so much
I'm
beauty.
here enjoying it
Yes.
right now,
Yeah.
and
See,
that's what's lovely.
yeah. See,
Because
I
it won't
had
happen like this ever again.
I had woken up early in the morning. There was so much I kind of accomplished because the moment I wake up, I do this exercise of being in here and now in awareness rather than letting my thought go. Oh, I have to accomplish all these things today. I have to do that. That worry is not there. They will be done because if I do this movement well, the next movement will okay. If I do well today, tomorrow will be better. So that way you don't have any frustration. The problem is the subconsciously what you have built up all these years will come up. And that is
The thing
when,
is about,
yeah,
like you said, think about you get up and you think about all the things you're going to do in a day.
yeah,
You've almost done the job in your mind
yeah,
twice.
yeah. See what it is plan it, break it into tasks that you want to do, and then when
That's
you're,
right.
yeah, when you're doing the task, be there completely. Like I'm going to do so many things after this 1 hour is gone, but this 1 hour is related to service of my friends and whoever comes up, and if they have something to tell us, we will learn, or if they want some solution that we know, we will exchange and share it. That's all. Beyond that,
Yes. Yeah.
why should I expect anything else? That is when we go into the future. Live this moment completely. I'm enjoying Julie's company. I enjoyed Martin's company. That itself is good enough. I'm happy, and happiness is my success. That's how
It
it
is.
is. Yeah, happiness is lived every day. Right, Julie?
Soaks right in, doesn't it? It
Yeah,
fills you up, which is lovely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right back.
There is something else too. See, people think if I seem like-mindedness, we really agree with each other conclusions. They cement those conclusions again and all that. But what is important is having this chemistry of really perceiving the friendliness, togetherness, everything that I have with Martin, with Julie. It was built over months, but then we kind of touch each other right away. We kind of connect together at a much deeper level than just we have to agree with each other. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I can feel
Yes.
you, Doctor.
Yeah. That energy comes up all the time, and that is very important because you don't want to judge people just by their mental conclusions or subconscious conditioning and all that. If you can see beyond that, that means see them as the being they are.
Yes. Yeah.
Not,
Massively.
yeah,
Yes.
Martin is a human being, Julie is human being, I'm a human being. At the being level, we are all the same.
Here we are.
Yes.
I was just see Kelly there, and she is also. I love her too.
Yeah,
She
sure.
actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
Kelly. Yeah,
very very
definitely. Yeah.
sweet. Yes, and
So,
she's human being like me,
yeah,
and like you.
what I mean by being is just that conscious self that we are. And we have a body, we have a mind, we have different thoughts, different conditioning, different all those. But then, how much you can get rid of the conditioning, live in the present moment, that's what I always talk about. That's what I live all the time. I have so many worries with patients and everything else, right? But I don't want to bring that here. And that has become a habit for me, even with dealing with the patient. Any patient comes, that is complete priority for that patient, for the patient problems, expressing and all. Once we establish that, once he's finished, next I go to the next one, I focus on that. So what I'm saying is,
Yes,
whatever is happening in the present moment, focus on that.
be there with it.
Yes,
Be.
yes.
That's it. Yeah,
Be
definitely.
attention to every task. Attention is actually it's a focused awareness. So if you are
Yeah.
aware in the movement, that's what I preach. Wellness club of my yoga club in the morning. That 1 hour is not just a yoga practice; it's an exercise in being aware and here and present. That means you start the thing around with the conversation, chit chat, and all that. I will tell them, be here and now, be here with me, and breathe deeply. And also, what it does is, first of all, voluntarily they are trying to be here and now, and then the deep breathing makes their thoughts cut down a little bit. And then they become really inwardly oriented. You know, Judy, if you want to come back, come up. Uh, so Martin also was twice. That's fine too. So it's a question of being here and now, and it's a question of really understanding present is our life, present moment is our life. It's not like being compulsive every time. All you do is just to focus what you're doing. Suppose I tell them, okay, we're going to do Tadasana, these are the steps, and then each step they do it. First, plant your feet both in the ground, then pick up your kneecaps, and then pick up the buttocks, pick up the suck in the abdomen, and squeeze the shoulders. All that goes on, and each step they focus and they come more and more into the present. But at the same time, they are doing the exercise too. So the same way with the work also, when you go there, you just approach each step rather than letting your mind run. We do that when there is a crisis. And there's a crisis, we are alive. Within a minute, we do so many things. Like the pilot who has this pilot plane going down, that 1 minute he said that 60 seconds is the longest period he ever experienced. That means he's alive intensely for every second. If you cannot do that much, you can be forcing yourself like a you can be curious about the things you are doing. That's one big, very important thing. And also not letting the thought run away from what it is focused on. you know so these are all the principles to have that happiness as the success. Not success leading you to happiness. That is a myth. We may get some things, but they won't give you happiness. They give you pleasure probably for a while and they go away. But if you are engaged and you have meaningfulness in that particular activity, then you will be like, for example, I'm marching more and more towards this concept of um, service. Whatever I do, can I make it into service? Service in the spirit of giving without expectations, and really helping people in that way, and also really realizing each one has the being which is like a divinity in all of us. So if you serve somebody, you are like serving the god like. That is what the ancient principles told me. The principle of namaste is that. The principle of seva is that. The principle of karma yoga is that, where you do the work without an agent, without expecting any results. These principles really make you not to have desires to run away, not to have ambitions to run away, but you will have a quality work that is happening here and now. you know so be aware of that. And most of the time people, once they do that, they feel like that. Suppose you go and have a random kindness, act of kindness somewhere. Uh, you go to a grocery shop, somebody greets you with a good smile, you feel good, right? That kind of thing you can do to other people too. Or in the halfway, so somebody carrying a big load, go and take a little bit and then help them. That kind of random act of kindness really helps you to be happy and also other people. You don't want to expect anything from them, not even revelation, not even admiration, not even telling them that you are so good. No, you feel that, and that smile comes back to them, and then they really feel good that you are doing that for them. Okay, so those kind of things. Okay, if you pursue any consumeristic commercial activity just for profits and just for building the ego, then you are going to have success of finishing the product, but that will not lead to happiness. That's the point. Whereas if you have happiness established within yourself and you are going to go in the spirit of helpfulness, or in the spirit of just doing for something for somebody, or doing like a worship of that God that is present in everybody. That all can be very, very meaningful. I am trying to fashion my activities towards that, and then I don't have to even think about it. They normally happen like that. Only thing is you got to watch the conditioning factors that go on all the time, and then we absorb them into our subconscious, and they come out without telling us. So yoga way of being awareness and practice and all that brings you that kind of subconscious tendencies to go down. That's why yogis can stop their heartbeat, they can elevate their temperature, they can reduce the time, breathing to 3 per minute, and thereby they extend their life. So many things are there. If you want to learn about the yoga international day, tomorrow I'm going to run a room. I'm sure a lot of people know about that and a lot of people do it. Or for the people who don't know, I will celebrate with you, and I'll have a series of meetings tomorrow, but that's fine. I'm going to come back on the 9 o'clock here, and in the morning we'll have a yoga session, and then later on at 9 o'clock I will come here and I will just celebrate the yoga with you, and then I may do one particular technique that you can take it and then implement in your daily life if you want. And I'll show you breathing also. I'll show you also how to calm your mind. Those kind of things will be done tomorrow. At the same time, I'll come at 9 o'clock central time, and we can celebrate together. I would introduce International Yoga Day for people who don't know. For people who know, I will celebrate with a particular benefits of yoga, and what is the true yoga, what is true meditation, what is the true purpose of yoga when they were invented, and how many thousands of years this practice is going on, how it did not die. For example, on the other hand, it has expanded all over the world, but they are only doing only one part of the yoga, which is not bad. They can do it, but I wish they can really understand the true purpose of yoga, and then true purpose of meditation, and then get the immense benefits that happens with that. See, for me it is automatic. Where I'm here, if I have the stiffness and all that, I release that right away. If I'm really getting too much into the future, too much into the past, immediately I come back to the present. So those kind of things do not leave me any brain fog when I do so many rooms and so many talks and so many discussions with so many people. Like we enjoyed Martin's company, we enjoyed Julie's company, and next I go to the next one. I'm completely focused with the other person, other committee, whatever I'm involved in my meetings. I have several meetings posted today and tomorrow. but that's okay. So, International Yoga Day, we are going to celebrate tomorrow. Today's topic of success bringing happiness is a myth. It will not give you happiness, it will give you pleasure, it may give you some comforts and all that. That's fine, okay? But don't extend that external activity as leading to happiness in your life. On the other hand, there is a way to turn inward, to be in the present, to get in touch with the center of happiness that we all have within us. And then really uh, understand and implement in the life, so that you feel that I'm really happy just because my understanding, just because my increased perception of what is what, and then that's what I'm recommending. That is called Gnana Yoga. That means you're going to perceive the reality as it is, and non-realities that we thought are realities will fall away. That is the basic principle of the knowledge yoga. That's called Gnana Yoga. To come to that level, though, you got to have a mind that is purified and focused. And for that, it's very difficult if you have a purified mind is to perform in life with purification of mind, and that is the karma yoga. And then focus is done by this meditation that happens with sitting down and focusing on one thing, right? So if you have a purified mind with your work and life you live, and you have a focused mind because you try to achieve that, then you go to that knowledge yoga. That knowledge yoga really, in a second it can happen if you have a purified mind, you have a focused mind. Okay, those two qualities. So different yogas are there for different purpose of human um, uh, human flowering. Okay, you can flower in your physical health, you can flower in your mental health, you can flower in being, just be and being, and then in that intelligent present moment of awareness you discover bliss, and that's where the blissfulness comes, and happiness is success. So that kind of happiness you have, you may not have other things, but you are very happy. That's why the yogis in India, they appear like they don't have anything. They are like a beggars and all that, but they are like internally pretty blissful and happy. There was a story of this king who was in the palace, and he had everything, lot of riches, lot of relatives, friends, and also a lot of comforts and luxuries, everything, right? Whatever he wants to eat, he can eat. All those things are there, and then he is very miserable inside because he's have a void inside. Yeah, that is the modern culture is also like that. It gives you so many external things, but internally it robs your peace, it robs your happiness and all that, right? So he was like that. This is not a new phenomenon. It was there from ancients. So this king walks to the balcony one time, and he sees a beggar dancing with the children, and he has this beautiful smile on his face. The king gets perturbed and then says, "How come that guy is so happy and all that?" So he comes walking to the gate and opens the gate and talks to this guy. Hey, I have everything. I have palace, I have lands, I have so much money in my treasury, and I have all these things that I do. But I feel miserable inside. I don't have happiness inside. What is the secret that you have, that you don't seem to have clothes completely? You have a loin cloth only, and then you are so spontaneously joyful and playing with the kids and having this. How can I have that? Then the guy says, you said your problem in your own words. You said, I have everything. That's the problem. All the external things that you have, but you don't have the inner happiness and peace because you are focusing on the external things. But you are not trying to know yourself, understand human being what it is, and then be that. So everybody thinks they are clever, They are intellectually very active, and they are having so many things, but they are neglecting very important piece of themselves inside. And that is what I'm trying to focus here. There's an intelligence within, there is peace, there is happiness within, and that is very, very fulfilling. This is not done by just clever arguments and all that. You got to make your mind still and discover what is inside. That's why what he said, in Patanjali Yoga, which is the Bible of yoga, what he said was yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is stilling of the mind. you know in that stillness, when the mind is calm and quiet, you know then tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam, then you will see your real nature, your real self, because the mind is calm, like a lake that is calm and that has no waves. You can see the bottom. Like that, if the superficial mind is calm and quiet, that's the purpose of the yoga anyway. And then you see your results. Otherwise, he says, if you don't see that, the form of mind will be clubbed with the consciousness, then everything will manifest outward, and you will never have peace and quiet. Okay. Um, uh, Vrittisaryam itaratra. That means all the vrittis, all the mind waves will come manifest in your life, and you will not have the inner stability, serenity, peace, and happiness. That's the purpose of this room. What I was talking about is success leading to happiness is a myth. Success can lead to material comfort and safety and all those things. But don't mistake it as happiness. You may have some moments of pleasure, but they will go away. Okay, and then you will be tired of them too, and then you want something more permanent within. Otherwise, you are building yourself empty void. That is the phenomenon of the more of people in a big scale. Okay, and then if you are really touch that center within, like the rivers go and discover they are happy once they merge it with the sea. Otherwise, they are restlessly running, right? From the time they are born, they are restlessly running towards the sea. Like that, if you don't find your source, you will not be happy. But if you find it, that is happiness and that is the success. Then everything else outside make some difference. You may not want to hold it, you may not have to hold on to it, you may not have to develop addiction about building them, and then you give away freely, and then they don't mean nothing because you are blissful inside. That is the aspect I think they did not bring it out. What happens when you are knowing who you are and being in the present and turning inward all the time, then it's not like a uh, uh, just turning miserably inward. Not does not. It's like a calming thought and then touching that inner being. If you don't have that, you will come to that one thing. Your relationship failed, your financial failed, your uh, success. You may be retired, you may have disease, you may have accident. All these things happen in life for everybody, right? But then if you have already, oriented inwardly, you can really take them easily and accept them, and also get over them easily too. They will not be a factor of your unhappiness. That happened to me when I was stroked out in 2014. I got back within a month because I already know how to be here. I already know micro yoga. I already know how to not move from one day to the next day. And I was not miserable. I was not exasperated. All that energy went into the recovery. So I recovered within a month. I came up walking. People were surprised. But then that's okay. And then the financial life also, you can make money, you can lose money, but then that will not disturb your center. You will deal with the situation as they are, as they are happening. This is so much away from the modern life, but the modern life producing so much of mental illness, so much of unhappiness, so much of discord in family life, so much of discord in friends and all. So don't think your mind is the best thing and you're worshiping. Don't make it a friend of yours, but don't worship it. That's the only simple tool that you have. Body and mind are your tools. They are not you. Once you understand that, then you will go into your real self. If you don't there, however healthy you are, it will go away one day. However financially secure, however mentally think you are intellectual, you invented so many softwares and whatever it is, uh, they are good, but that's not everything. That's what it is, you know. So you think you have those things and you're happy because of that. That is the problem. That the king had the same thing that we have to in modern society. So expanding outward, doing outward everything else is a question, is it achieving anything? Because that we are become permanent consumers and we are consuming so many resources of the earth and causing damage to the earth. See the consequences of the weather. We are at the moment of extinction, like, right? We are destroying so much, you know, the corals in the sea, the air outside, the waters of the seas, of the rivers, you know, and then the temperatures have blown up like anything. All these are causes of orienting our happiness and success outside. No, you have to be more reverential to that. You have to be really take care of the resources of the earth by being internally oriented, satisfied within, peaceful within, happiness within, then using only a little bit of the collection sources to survive and to be well. Okay, so that is what I wanted to talk to you today about, and I hope people got the message. But we are going to do another room tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, 10 Eastern. Thank you for coming, and I will see you tomorrow in the morning again. Namaste.